In this lecture, we are going to talk a little bit about cross-site request forgery and how the legato framework handles this. So what we're going to do, we saw from the last lecture that we are not able to actually successfully submit a form because there was no token sent along with our request. So let's quickly just have a little background about how the CSRF verification works. So right here inside of the middleware folder, we have this file called CSRF verification. And then here we have a protected property called skip validation. So what we can do with this property is to define some of the routes that we want to allow submission of a post request without actually providing a token. So a token is the way that the framework protects you from this attack, which is called cross-site request forgery. The framework generates a token for you and you send along that token with every request that you make. So every post request that you make, you send along that token. For GET request, you don't really need to worry about sending the token. So the use cases for when you don't need to worry about sending a token will be for GET request or when you are running PHP unit test. So if you're making a post request from PHP unit test from a test environment, then the framework will allow you to actually successfully run that post request. Otherwise, you need to explicitly specify here that you want to exempt this particular URL from the protection. So if I come here and say login, and then let's come back again. Then let's attempt to submit. And now you can see that we are able to submit the form. That is because we have already said here, we don't want you to protect this particular URL. So I want to be able to submit my URL. So that is not what we want to do. There are some cases where we need to do that, but for login and also for sign up form, we really need to ensure that they are protected so that a malicious user does not take advantage of other users and then perform destructive actions on your application. So let's come back again to our form. So we're starting with the login form. To make this form CSRF compliant, all we need to do is to just come down here and then use the inbuilt function. So we can say CSRF token feed. So add this to our login form and also add it to our register form. So what this function does is just add one more feed to our form, which is going to contain the token. So let's see how that works on the browser. So we come here. And then now if we click on view page source, and you can see here that we now have one hidden input field called token, and then the value is set to the token that is being generated. So with this, we are now able to actually submit this form without any restrictions. The same thing happens for the register form. So we can now submit both forms. So we're getting a 404 here because we don't have a post route for register. So if we were to create a post route for register, that should just be okay. So let's just copy this and then come here, and then make it post to /register. And then here we call this register. And then here say registered successfully. And then right here, let's submit the form again. Here we get registered successfully. All right, we are now almost done with the setup of our UIs for the login and registration system, which is just a subset of the application that we're going to build. But we want to get done with this part before we move on to the next part, which is actually going to deal with allowing users to actually submit links. That will be all for this lecture. In the next lecture, we are now going to add one more layer of security, which is a way for us to prevent spam bots from actually messing up with our application. So we are going to add reCAPTCHA to our application. I'll see you then.